Whether you have an idea and are considering licensing, or you're already knee-deep in the throes of attempting to license your invention, you won't want to miss learning from the top 10 mistakes that I see people make in the invention licensing business. Hi, Lisa Lloyd here with more tips, tricks, and strategies to optimize and accelerate your invention licensing business success. If you like this video when we're done, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be the first to know each time I've posted. Look, no one is perfect, but I've been doing this for almost 30 years, and to this day, it is basically the same 10 mistakes that I see over and over when working with clients. These are not difficult to avoid or even overcome if you've already made them in most cases. But you can't do anything if you don't know it's a problem. So let's dive into what they are so that you can avoid making some of the mistakes or course correct your steps if you've already made them. And if you'd like to learn even more when we're done, book a free consultation with me in the link below. So mistake number one is, and these are in no particular order, I'm often asked by students if they should do a crowdfunding campaign or get investors. Well, the simple answer is no. Not if you want a license. To have a successful crowdfunding campaign, you have to spend $10,000 to $20,000 with a good agency unless you know the secret of driving traffic to your offer. Then you have to be prepared to make and sell those goods that you promised in the campaign. So why would you spend that kind of money when you don't plan on even making and selling a product? The same is true for investors. You don't need much money. On average, it's only about $5,000 or less to invent, patent, and license. I've done it for as little as $1,500 in all. Investors are not interested in small investments with a small return. A simple loan from an angel investor, maybe, but not traditional investors. The second mistake that I see made is not properly defining the problem or pain, resulting in products that don't solve a big enough problem for enough people to make a company want to license it. Listen, even if you manage to get a license, it doesn't guarantee that consumers will buy it. You have to have a point of differentiation from all the competition that will make people want it. Even if it's just one thing, that's fine, as long as it is a significant enough pain for enough people, or in the case of a simple novelty item, a game, for example, it has to delight people enough. Generally, what I see most people do is a basic patent search and maybe a little marketplace research to see if anyone else is doing my idea already. That doesn't tell you if you have a wow solution, just that no one else is doing what you have in mind. I guarantee you will invent solutions that sell if you add customer insights to all of your research. I have links below for more on how to do these and others mentioned in this video. Number three is another mistake I see along the same lines with sell sheets. I see this on about 90% of every sell sheet that I'm asked for feedback on. Most of them are pretty good, but they utterly fail at demonstrating the UVP or unique value proposition. Don't assume that companies understand the problem. Our biggest value to large organizations who already employ full-time product developers is that we see what they can't. So point out what is currently being used or done for that problem that you're going to solve, what's wrong with them, which happens to be exactly what you've done better. And number four is thinking that just filing a PPA is good enough. If you get everything else right and a company is interested in licensing, they will ask to review your patent application before sending you an agreement. A poorly drafted PPA not only could cost you their interest, worse, it could easily get you knocked off. IP is as much a business strategy as it is a legal decision. So choose the right kind of patent and do it well. It is the core value of the very thing you're monetizing. And number five is unnecessary spending. A patent is the only consistent expense in a licensing business model. Other than maybe a little engineering support, there is nothing else that needs to be paid for that you can't do or learn to do yourself. For example, learn how to write an effective sell sheet and use the free tools like Extensio or Canva online. No software needed. The point here is to become a learner, and you will have more money to spend on what you do need, not on what you don't. When I was on The Big Idea with Donnie Deutsch, I even went on record that just because you have money doesn't mean that you need to spend it. And to this day, I still treat every invention like I have to do it with no money. Now, depending on what you have, you may be thinking, yeah, Lisa, but what about a prototype? Won't that cost me a lot? Well, that brings me to the sixth mistake on my list, making prototypes. Let me clarify first that a prototype is something that is finished. It looks, feels, and acts like the product that will actually be on shelves, but 99% of the time, they won't be necessary. On the other hand, a working model is always a good idea. It helps you think through and flush out the idea in a way that specifically addresses the pain point that you've identified. And best of all, you can do this for little or no money at all. I have products that I've licensed with models made out of cut and glued materials from just around the house, like clicks. This was a soda bottle that I cut up and shaped with hot water. I literally used this to demonstrate to Helen of Troy, and after licensing it, it became their #1 selling accessory of all time. Don't worry if it's not pretty. You can use a virtual prototype to illustrate how you envision it on the shelves of stores and demonstrate with a working model to make them believe that it works, to drive home the licensing deal. And number 7 is calling on the wrong companies. This is a subtle mistake and often one people don't even know that they're making because the companies that they're pitching are not giving any feedback. If you're pitching and getting no's without feedback, consider this as a possible reason. The question to answer is your product a good fit for their line, and do they make similar products? For example, just because you have a mop that cleans 3 times faster in half the time doesn't mean that a mop company is a good fit. I ran into this recently with my new mop. Mine uses gears, and I spoke with 3 different mop companies that all loved the concept, but none of them were in the mechanical business. They made simple mop products like Swiffer, and they all said that they loved it, but just couldn't manufacture it. Number 8 is sending and selling sell sheets to prospects without an appointment. Now, some companies just don't want to talk to crazy inventors, so they'll just ask you to send their sell sheet in to be evaluated. The problem is that without a conversation, you never have a chance to build a rapport and may never get the chance to overcome any objections. Most of all, you learn nothing. So my recommendation is to sell them on a 10 to 15 minute Zoom call so that you can discuss it and answer any questions, followed by sending them the sell sheet to share internally if they're interested in reviewing it further. So begin with just selling them on a quick call to review your product and get their expert feedback. If they won't book a call with you, then you can make a judgment call about whether to just send them the sell sheet or not. It depends on how important that company is to you. Now, number 9 is doing it alone. Listen, I know we're all inventors, but that doesn't mean that we need to reinvent the wheel. Get around others who have had success, as well as newbies who you can share the challenges and rewards of the journey with. You don't have to make the same mistakes, and you will learn from each other in addition to just not feeling alone. Find a local inventor group or a national group like the Inventors Groups of America, where it's totally free to join. Or call me to find out how you can join my private group. It is by invitation only, but a short call will tell us both if we're a good fit for one another. And number 10 is the biggest mistake that even I've been guilty of: falling in love with the problem. When you fall in love with your solution, you will inherently have a confirmation bias, meaning you'll only see and hear what confirms what you're dreaming about. I'm not exaggerating. I have literally had hundreds of clients over the years who said that they did all their market research and found nothing like it, and in a matter of just minutes, I found several that not only solve the problem, but do it better. When you fall in love with the problem instead of the solution, you'll keep an open mind for whatever the best solution is because you're not attached to your immediate ideas. And when you combine that with customer insights, understanding that pain point will help you deliver a wow solution. The bottom line is always be learning. Don't make these mistakes and you'll have shored up a path to a successful licensing deal. Thank you for joining me today. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons and ask your questions in the comments section below. I read and answer every one of them and they help me to know what to teach you in future videos. Happy inventing!